February 1959. Deep in the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains, a group of 9 experienced hikers vanish without a trace. When rescuers finally find their camp weeks later, what they discover doesn't make sense. The tent has been cut open from the inside. Footprints, some without shoes, lead away from the camp and into sub-zero darkness. Every single hiker is gone, and the more investigators learn, the stranger this case becomes. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, one of the most debated unsolved mysteries in modern history. In late January 1959, a group of 10 skilled hikers set out from Sverdlovsk in the Soviet Union for a demanding trek through the Ural Mountains. Most were students or graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute, experienced outdoorsmen, not amateurs. Their goal? Reach Gora Otorten, a mountain whose name is believed to translate to "Don't go there" in the local Mansi language. The trip was led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, an engineering student known for his careful planning and calm leadership. The group would later be named after him. One member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill early in the trip and turned back. It was a decision that would save his life, because he would become the only survivor of the expedition. The remaining 9 pressed on. On February 1st, the group made camp on the slope of a mountain the Mansi people called Kolat Shakal, translated ominously as Dead Mountain. It would be their final camp. When the hikers failed to return on schedule, search parties were sent out. What they found at the abandoned campsite raised more questions than answers. The tent was still standing, but it had been cut open from the inside, as if the hikers needed to escape in a hurry rather than exit through the door. Their boots, coats, and supplies were left behind. Footprints in the snow showed that several hikers had fled the tent, either barefoot or in socks, walking roughly a kilometer downhill toward a nearby forest, in temperatures far below freezing. Why would experienced hikers leave the safety of their tent without proper clothing in a Siberian winter? That question alone would fuel decades of speculation. But the search had only just begun. Search teams found the first 2 bodies at the edge of the forest, near the remains of a small fire. Both hikers were dressed only in minimal clothing, despite the extreme cold. Nearby, 3 more bodies were discovered in poses suggesting they had been trying to return to the tent when they collapsed. It would take almost 2 more months to locate the final 4 hikers, buried under snow in a ravine deeper in the forest. These 4 were found to be more seriously injured than the others. Investigators noted severe chest and skull injuries, the kind normally associated with a high-impact accident. Yet there were no external wounds to explain them. One of the hikers was also missing her tongue, which added to the unease surrounding the case, though later analysis suggested this was likely the result of natural decomposition and scavenging animals rather than anything intentional. Soviet investigators officially closed the case in May 1959, citing an unknown compelling force as the cause of death, a vague and unsatisfying conclusion that left the door wide open for theories. For over 60 years, researchers, scientists, and amateur investigators have proposed explanation after explanation. Let's go through the most credible ones. Avalanche. Some researchers believe a slab avalanche struck the tent, forcing the hikers to cut their way out and flee downhill to safety, only to succumb to hypothermia in the dark. Critics point out the snow slope's low angle made an avalanche statistically unlikely, though a 2021 study using modern slope modeling software suggested a smaller, delayed snowslide was possible after all. Katabatic winds. Others argue extreme, hurricane-force winds funneling down the mountainside may have made the tent unbearable, forcing an emergency evacuation. Military testing. Given the era, deep in the Cold War, some believe the group may have witnessed secret military testing nearby, though no verified evidence has ever confirmed this. Paradoxical undressing. Medical experts note that in advanced stages of hypothermia, the body can trigger a phenomenon where a person feels intensely hot and removes their clothing, despite freezing conditions. This could explain the minimal clothing found on several victims. Infrasound panic. A more recent theory suggests that wind moving across the mountain's rounded shape may have generated infrasound, low-frequency sound waves below human hearing that are known to cause intense feelings of fear and panic, potentially explaining the sudden, chaotic escape from the tent. Each theory explains some of the evidence, but none explain all of it perfectly, and that's exactly why this case has remained so captivating for over 6 decades. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case, ultimately concluding that an avalanche, combined with poor visibility and difficult terrain, was the most likely cause. In 2021, researchers from Switzerland published a study using engineering models originally developed for the film Frozen to simulate how snow slabs move. Their simulation supported the idea that a delayed, smaller-scale snowslide could have caused the injuries and forced the group to flee. Still, many researchers, and the surviving families of the hikers, remain unconvinced. They argue the avalanche theory doesn't fully account for the specific injuries, the scattered locations of the bodies, or the fact that experienced hikers would leave a stable-looking tent so abruptly. More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of history's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. 9 experienced hikers, a shredded tent, footprints into the snow, and a set of injuries science still struggles to fully explain. Was it nature? Panic? Something else entirely? Maybe we'll never know for certain, but perhaps that's exactly why this story continues to be told, generation after generation. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe for more untold mysteries from history, and let me know in the comments which theory you believe is closest to the truth.